You need a half hour?
I think I made it up here.
Get
faster
that guy
than
some
Ryan.
ice, holy cow. Thanks to Brady Pitts. I knew there'd be a risk when I asked not only my best pal, but a former stand-up comic to introduce me. I thought there's no better person than the guy who was my best man at my wedding, my teammate during all our years at Dodgeville, as well as Whitewater. We won conference championships and a national championship together. At the core of our resurgence as a football team here in Dodgeville, Brady really was the primary catalyst. He epitomized what it was that Dodgeville football really needed to go from being a perennial doormat to a championship level team. Hard work, dedication, training, and focus. We needed to change the way we prepared if we wanted to be great. We took our beatings when we were younger, but it all came together after putting in the work. And Brady was at the front of all of that. So thank you, buddy. Thank you for being there with me every step of the way. Now go sit down and ice up. To the fellow Hall of Famers, talk about Dodgeville name recognition. You've got a Riley, 2 tanks, and a who's who of Dodgeville royalty on that 77 golf team. Congratulations. It's especially an honor to share this week with Ryan, as Ryan and Pat coached me in baseball from the time I could throw until my final game as a home talent player. Thank you guys. Got to make sure I do some the proper thank yous. I know I'm going to miss some people. First and foremost, my family, my wife Jen, our kids Jack and Ava. It's a humbling feeling knowing that even as a newly minted Hall of Famer, I'm not even the best athlete in my own home. Jen, my wife, currently stands in the top 10 statistically in about 20 categories at Edgewood College, including ranking number 1 in at-bats, number 1 in runs scored, number 1 in hits, number 1 in stolen bases. This all while batting a cool .496 her senior year. So it's a constant reminder that my casual 400 plus career average at DHS kind of pales in comparison. It's a competitive household. Our kids better hit those batting cages real soon. To my parents, Jerry and Cindy, and my brothers, Austin and Asa, you were my first inspirations. I always wanted to make you proud. You taught me to be a leader, to be a great student. All these accolades that appear on these plaques come from the lessons I learned out on Wilson Road. I certainly wouldn't be here if our teams didn't have such great successes. But sports have a humbling way of teaching you those tough lessons. And it was 22 years ago, yesterday, October 5th, 2001, that I think I came away with one of the greatest lessons I'd ever learned. I'm hoping most of you have forgotten about what happened on homecoming the night of 2001, when River Valley beat us 74-6 on our field. I was a sophomore, starting at quarterback and a couple other positions. We had a young team, not very talented team. I think I was sacked 12 times that night, was probably concussed, and just generally humiliated. It was easily the toughest night of my life as an athlete. Went home to clean up and change before the homecoming dance, and before I got to the house, Dad met me in the garage for one of those father-son garage chats. I didn't know what to expect from Dad, but he put his arms around me and just told me, this may be the toughest moment you've ever faced, but your teammates, your classmates, your younger brothers, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be looking up to you to see how you respond in this moment. He reminded me to keep my head up, to be strong, and don't let this hurt bring me down. There's better days ahead. And a lot came from that night. I ended up at the homecoming dance, surrounded by several of my teammates, a lot of the guys that are here tonight, and we vowed to never let that happen again. We never wanted to feel that hurt and defeat again. We were sick of losing, and it was time for a change. So we went to work. We grinded. We spent so much time in that damn weight room that we got into fights with the janitors who were just trying to lock up and go home for the night. It wasn't easy, but we knew if we ever wanted to be successful, we had to put in the work. That homecoming night was a turning point, and it catapulted us in the successes we shared our junior and senior years. We won back-to-back conference football championships, the first since 1986. We won a combined 19 football games, including a 2-year undefeated record on Dodgeville turf. In baseball, we won a regional championship. We had an undefeated 9-0 regular season in football our senior year. We won the first 2 playoff games in school history. Those are 2 very special years, especially considering how far we'd come. We used to talk about wanting to be the ones to turn the football program around in Dodgeville. And I'm proud to say that, at least for 2 years, we did just that. I'm so grateful to those guys. My teammates, my coaches, best friends, guys who are a big part of this honor. You have all my respect and admiration. To my coaches, teachers, and supporters, thank you. You may never know what you're getting into or if the wins are ever going to pile up. But please know the impact you make on young people is important and it's meaningful. I was surrounded by great leadership my entire life, from Little League Baseball, Babe Ruth Baseball, Mustang Football, Dodgeville Hockey, and all through high school. To all of you, I'm so appreciative. This award means the world to me because of what it means to be a Dodgeville Dodger and to wear the orange and black. My kids will get to see my plaque next to their grandfathers, with Dick Stevens on the Hall of Fame 5 times, 6 times? And just down the hall from my dad as a distinguished alumnus. Next to generations of amazing athletes, coaches, and supporters who made this school and community so special. To my close friends and teammates, here we go. Brady Pitts, Justin Athey, Carl Reynolds, Ty Markline, Nate Boffeld, Trevor Christensen, Tony DeMuth, Tyler Hermanson, Scott Von Ruden, Josh Kalish, John Leader, and so many more. My coaches and supporters, Mike Baronic, Todd Biddick, Bob Metcalf, Jeff and Brian Bradley, Chuck Tank, Pat and Ryan Riley, Dave James, Bob Buck, Tammy Baronic, and Greg Gavinger. Special shout out to Chad Olson, Brett and Brad Bourne, Rob Might, Eric Bradley, Eric Rowitz, Craig Jansen, Kurt Wire, and all the guys who made up without question the heyday of the Dodgeville Little League program. Nothing beat those summer nights at Wilson Park, where we cut our teeth learning the ways of baseball fundamentals, sharpening our competitive spirit, all the while never fully understanding why they kept talking about hangovers. To a few people who are no longer with us, who I owe so much appreciation to as well. Jack Wire, my grandparents, Roy and Lorraine Ayers, Frank Trevero, and Zach Gavlinger. I'm thinking of you all tonight. To Jeff Bradley and the Hall of Fame committee, I am honored to even been brought up in the discussion. I know there's been decades of deserving candidates. These are tough decisions, so I'm humbled to have been selected. Thank you. In closing, I think back on something my old quarterback mentor, Jeff Trickey, taught me during one of his mini camps. You may forget some of the things you learned in class, but you'll always remember the guys in the huddle and all the great times on the field. And as my wife would begrudgingly agree, I can remember almost every play, every pitch count, and all the jokes between plays. I'll never forget Scott Von Ruden's walk-off base hit to beat Prairie du Chien my sophomore year, when in the celebration, Justin Athey gave Scotty an abrupt celebratory chest bump that sent Scotty rolling into right field. I'll never forget when Carl Reynolds ran the perfect, unscripted hook and ladder play to Tanner Pratt to help us get that sweet redemption against River Valley the year after that homecoming calamity. I'll never forget Ian Clark returning a fumble 82 yards to cap off the epic fourth quarter comeback to beat Platteville my junior year to secure our first conference championship. I'll never forget getting to catch absolute gems from Trevor Christensen, Justin Athey, or Tony DeMuth, or watching Carl Reynolds and Ty Markline turn countless perfect double plays. I'll never forget Nate Boffeld's pick 6 to put us ahead against Richland Center, or Ty Hermanson's end of the half Hail Mary catch against Fenimore, my senior homecoming. I'll never forget the fireworks that went off above Dodgeville High School the night we pounded Lodi 41-14 in the playoffs. As Brady Pitts said, they had it coming. I live in Lodi now, it's a blast. I'll never forget those bus rides, the euchre games in the cafeteria, all the countless hours we spent in that snake pit of a weight room, post games at Pizza Hut, spaghetti team dinners, and sitting around in left field at Centennial Park on a spring night after a win. And I most definitely will never forget this special honor. I cherish the memories of being a Dodgeville Dodger. Thank you.
Yeah,